Hi everybody, we're back here for another playthrough, this time the Coast to Coast tournament, and we're playing through on the Expert Division. And remember, if you like the videos and you like the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you. Hole 1 is a par 3. We're going to play this with a sniper and a kingmaker. We're going to play it at plus 20% and about mid-club with the sniper. What we're going to do is first place the club at minimum distance, and we're going to put about 2.2 rings in the sand trap. So about 2.2 rings in, again, minimum distance. And then what we're going to do is pull back about 3 bars of backspin. And what we're going to do is watch the ball guide and make sure it's just slightly past the cup. And once we get the backspin set where we want it, then we're going to put 1 right. All right, so we can see at minimum distance, about 2.3 rings in the sand. Now we're backing it up, and you see me put a little bit of left spin on that. That's just while I'm watching the ball guide. So I'll figure out where I want that backspin, about 3.1 this time. And then I put the 1 right spin on it. And then we make our adjustments. Again, plus 20% mid-club. And hit a perfect shot. And this is a little bit different approach than most people do. I'm aiming straight at the cup. That ball goes straight down and goes straight in. Hole 2 is a par 4. This one we're going to play with the Apocalypse and a Kingmaker. We're just going to hit it straight down this fairway in this gap. So playing about 3.1 topspin and about 0.5 right. Now if your Apocalypse is level 4 or lower, or you're playing with an extra mile, you may need just a little bit more topspin on this. But what we're shooting for is a drive around 362 yards or a little bit less. That'll let us get up on the green and be able to hit a short iron shot. And when we do that, we're going to be pretty close to minimum distance. And we're going to put about 4 bars of backspin and about 5.5 bars to the right. So we want that ball, when we're coming in, kind of straight downwind. So if we miss our adjustment a little bit, then we're still straight at the hole. So we set this shot up right between the gap. About 3 bars of topspin, just a little bit more, a little bit to the right. Let's set that up. We're playing plus 10%. Make our adjustment for the wind, and we're not pushing up on this one. We don't need any extra distance. And this was a perfect shot. You can hit this great left or right just a little bit and be okay, but if you're way off on the greats, then you can get in trouble. So you'll see this shot went 364 yards. It's just a little bit further than I like, but it will still work. All right, so with our second shot, and in this case I have the Kingfisher 7, so it's got the best ball guide and best accuracy. So it's the short iron I use once I get it to level 7. You see that setup, we're pretty much straight downwind. And then when we adjust this back, and this is 10% uphill. So when we make this adjustment, we're going to be right at minimum distance. Get a perfect shot. And that ball's going to center the pin. So easy eagle. Hole 3 is our first par 5. And this one we're going to play with the rock on the first shot. I'm going to do about 3.1 topspin. If it's rock 9, I might go 3 topspin. Rock 8, I think it loses 1 yard, so maybe just a hair more. And I'm going to use 2 bars of left spin just to, since that wind is blowing from left to right, to kind of straighten the ball out. So first shot, we want to stop up here. We want to get it fairly close, but not too close that where it's going to roll down into the sand. And then the second shot, we're going to hit either Cataclysm or Big Dog, whichever one works best for you. We're going to use about 7 bars of topspin and 3.5 to the left. We're going to land this over this rough spot and roll it down here by the sand. And then with our third shot, we're going to hit a Hornet or your best short iron, whatever you're used to using. And we're going to hit it up the hill and then come down the backside. And there is a definite funnel on this hole. If you get it positioned right on your second shot, there's a real nice funnel on this shot to get the eagle. All right, so for our drive, I'm setting that up, 3 topspin, 2 left. So you can see that ball guide's coming short of the rough before the sand, but it will still roll out even a little bit more than you see on the ball guide. Not pushing this shot up because we don't want any extra on it. Hit a perfect shot. You can hit great left or right and be fine on this drive. And we're rolling up and not far enough to make us clinch up too much. And then with our second shot, here I'm using the Cataclysm, level 6. We'll go about 7 topspin, about 3.5 to the left. You'll see I'll push this up into power just a little bit, because I want to see that ball guide pretty close to that left edge. I'm going to adjust this for the wind. There's no extra for elevation on this shot. It is plus 10% on the drive. So when I get this adjusted for the wind, this one I am going to push up. I don't want to use power if I don't have to. So we hit this down, didn't have to go into power. This ball's going to roll out nicely down about midway through this, that sand trap. And if you're at the beginning of that sand trap, you're going to be fine. I'm going to be probably mid-club or so with my third shot. All right, so with our third shot, it's going to be a short iron. So you can see I have plenty of extra room. If I was shorter than that, no problem. We're going to move this around until we find that funnel. So we see that, we'll move it left and right, up and down, and it didn't move. Then we're going to adjust, and once we adjust, we're going to move it just a little bit more, make sure that funnel doesn't move. Once we see that, we're going to adjust for the wind. And if anything on this shot, it's been on the right edge just a little bit, so if I look at that, playing some rounds tomorrow, I may put it maybe a little bit more on the left side of the cup. So you'll see this come in right edge, but that shot's falling for me just about every time. All right, hole 4 is a par 4, and this one you can play on the left side. There's a tree right here in the middle. You can play on the left side or you can play on the right, and I'm just getting a more consistent bounce out of this right side. When you play this left side, if you get just a little bit too far to the left, you're going to go down here in this sand or rough. And if you go a little bit too far to the right, you may catch this tree. Usually if you hit the tree, you're still going to end up out in the fairway, but it's just going to be a little bit shorter. So this drive on the right side is just, it's more consistent. So this is the one that I'm playing. And our setup, Apocalypse and Kingmaker, I'm not going even into full power, so I'm about 80% of max club with Apocalypse level 5 or higher, and it is plus 10% for elevation. So we're going to set it in here, put about 6 topspin, and then left as much as possible, and I still want to curl it around a little bit to the left. My second shot's going to be a Hornet. When you line this up, when you're over here on the right side, you want to kind of put it on the right edge of the cup. If you end up in the left side of the fairway, you want to shoot straight at the cup. What happens when you come in off this right side, there's a ridge right there between the green and the bunker. So if you come in too far to the right, that ball will roll down to the left. All right, so setting up on the right side, left as much as possible, about 6 topspin. and find a good spot up in this hill. Don't want to get too far up into that hill, but right in this region. You can see we got plenty of room here, so we're going to curl that back to the left and get it over a little bit more left, closer to the green. And that was even a great ball, but there's plenty of room to mess this up a little bit. It might have caught a little bit of tree, but it falls down right in the center of the fairway. And when we set up the second shot, I'm right in the center of the fairway. I probably didn't need to play this on the right hand side. Yeah, it's kind of a weird bump right there. I should have adjusted the back spin and moved that up or back just a little bit and got a cleaner landing position. This one's going to go off to the right just a little bit. But this is the type of shot that I'm going to be playing on this hole. All right, hole 5 is another par 3. And this one, I'm going to play with the B52 or the Grizzly, whatever's got the best ball guide. Playing it plus 10% for elevation and about 65% of the maximum club. And we're going to pull it back in this area and look for a spot where the ball guide doesn't move. And that's probably my biggest problem. I want to play it closer to the green, but you got to pull it back until you see that ball guide doesn't move. And then we're going to put about 2.8 bars of backspin and about 4 bars right spin. And we still want to offset it a little bit to the right. That wind's blowing almost straight at us. But we're going to put it, a little bit short and right, so almost at pin level, but off to the right side. All right, so I got the Grizzly on this time, and you see when I move that ball guide, where the landing spot wasn't moving. So I'm setting it up about 3 bars of backspin and about 4 to the right. You can see that ball guide coming in almost at pin level, but off to the right. Again, 65% slider plus 10%. And this is probably one of the worst wind angles that we could get for this hole. So you saw I hit that ball great right and missed it just on the right side. Hole 6 is a par 5. This one we're going to play over here on this left island. And we're going to play an Apocalypse and a Kingmaker. And what we're going to do is set up about 4.4 top spin, so just a little bit less than 4.5 bars of top spin, and about 4 to the left. So we want that ball to roll out down close to the end of the island. And that island is kind of bowl shaped, so that ball will just kind of roll back and forth. You'll see it when I hit the drive, but it's designed to stay in that little island. Second shot, we're going to hit a sniper. I've got my own little notes here. I've been around 65% on that slider, but we want to play 3 backspin, about 0.7 to the left, and I want to offset this a little bit short, and almost every time I've been to the right, so I'm going to try to, in the future, offset this just a little bit on the left side of the cup. All right, so setting this up, 4 bars to the left, a little over 4 bars top spin, almost 4.5. So we set it down in here. If you have less than Apocalypse level 5, you may need a little bit of push up on this shot. So we hit that, and I even hit that a great shot, but it's still going to bounce in here, and just watch, as it's rolling through here, kind of rolls back and forth, but that's real funnel shaped. So that ball will stay in that island. All right, so we set up for the second shot and figure out where we're at. So you see I'm probably about 75%, but once when I move that back, it's going to be at about 65% shot of max. So I'm setting this up, and you see I've got the ball guide aimed right at the pin, but just a little bit short. Again, I'm going to start offsetting that just a little bit to the left. May add just a little bit of extra left spin to help me do that. That was a perfect shot, but this ball is still going to roll out just a little bit on that right side of the cup. So, but real close, and not a great shot for albatross, but a good chance. Hole 7 is another par 3. This one we're going to play with a quarterback, and you can play this with a kingmaker, but what I've been doing is using a wind ball, and I want at least 2 side spin on the ball, so I've been using the 4-2-2 balls. So wind 4, side spin 2, power 2 balls. And just the way this works, we're going to be pulling this shot downhill, so it's going to come up shorter, and it's almost straight downwind. So what I'm doing to compensate, instead of adjusting and then pushing the shot back up, I'm playing this minus 30% and playing it at mid club on the quarterback. What I'm going to do is line this up about 1.5 rings in the rough, and I'm going to push the ball guide up until I see where it starts to straighten out, and you'll see that when we go in and look at the shot. But I want it right before that ball guide starts straightening up. Then I'm going to put about 4.2 to the right, about 1 bar of topspin, and we're going to catch that rough, and it's going to turn right into the cup. All right, so let's see, we're in there. I'm pushing that up. You can see it start to straighten out, and then we quit. So with the side spin 2, I'm going full right just to make the adjustment a little bit quicker. 1 bar of topspin, and looks like I'm a little over 1.5 bars in the or 1.5 rings in the rough. Pull that back. And I did hit that great left, but that's still, when you look at that, it's a pretty steady ball guide coming out of there. But it did roll up and fall in for the hole-in-one. The hole 8 is one of the longest par 4s in Golf Clash. Never felt like I've had a good chance to get an eagle on this hole. This time we've got the wind that's helping us with the power hook. I've been trying to do that with the Apocalypse and with the Titan. May experiment with that some more tomorrow. May try a Berserker. But I'm getting it down. Even if I end up in the rough, I want to make sure that I've got the Amazon on that's got enough distance and backspin that I can throw it on the green and back it up and get it real close for birdie. What I've settled on is I'm playing this full left with the Titan, side spin 2 ball, and using about 4.5 bars of top spin, and that ball's clipping the rough and just rolling out here. So as long as it doesn't roll too far, we're going to be at sniper minimum distance, and I'm going to try a rough bump on that shot. If I go a little bit further than that, then I'm going to be using a long iron and trying to back it up on the green. As long as you don't get in between clubs, if you take the Goliath, you can try the rough bump with the Goliath as well. So this is a hole that I'm still trying to work out what my strategy is going to be for the weekend. If I come up with something that works better, I will be posting an extra video. And anytime you see that, when you go in and see the new videos posted, it will say, hole 8 Eagle or hole 8 version 2, something to that effect. So we can know that it's a new video and that it's trying something a little bit different. So I'm setting that up about 4.5 topspin. And when I look at this, playing that almost 1-to-1. So it's only 10%, but with the curl, it's going to go a little bit further. So then put the 22 rings on for the Apocalypse level 7. Do the power hook. And it's been nicking that rough and just rolling out right in the center of the fairway. If I miss that fairway, what it's doing, it's hitting this hill and kicking it hard to the right and getting out here in the rough. So with extra topspin, that's what I've been seeing. 4.5, I've been able to catch that piece of rough and just stop right there in the middle of the fairway. This shot is going to be a sniper minimum, but if it goes a little too far, it can get in between clubs. All right, so you'll see we're right close to minimum, especially when we pull back since we're hitting downwind. So trying to find a good landing spot. And what you'll see here, I over pull this, end up a little bit shorter of where I'm at. That's why on the guide it said minus 10%. So I'm going to play this 10% uphill. So I'm playing this at minimum distance, level ground. And you'll see when it lands, it's definitely shorter of where I was looking at. It just came up a little bit short. And hole 9 is a par 5. And this one, the drive, we're going to play this plus 20%. And I'm going to play this with the Apocalypse and a Titan. And what I'm doing, I'm landing here. I want the second bounce to land in the rough. So I want it to bounce right up in here and just trickle down. And then I'll have about a mid-distance sniper into the green. With the Apocalypse 7, I need almost no overpower. If you've got 6 or a 5 or maybe an extra mile, you may need just a little bit more overpower. Or what you could do, instead of using the Titan, you may try a power 4 wind 2 ball to make this same shot. So when I set it up, I'm doing full top spin and 2 bars to the left, because when it hits that rough, I want it to trickle out to the left. And just with the angle, I'm putting a slight amount of curl to the right. I don't want this ball to hit and get too far to the left and then bounce down and end up in this rough over here. So if I miss the rough bounce, then it's still going to be an easy eagle, but it kind of takes away the albatross chance. Second shot, I'm playing that minus 10%. I was over pulling that. It doesn't look like it's uphill, but I've over pulled that, so I've changed that and playing that minus 10%. And what I want to do is just try to get this thing. There's kind of a little bit of a ridge on the green, and you'll see me mess around with the backspin and the side spin. So these numbers are very, very general. It's going to be whatever you need to do to get in that good landing spot, and then get it to roll right up towards the cup. All right, so full top spin, 2 to the left, and I'm really just looking at this, and what I'm looking at is about 5 extra rings. So that's 5. I want about 5 more rings, maybe 4 rings, and then I'm gonna put it just a little bit of overpower, a little bit of curl to the right. So 9.1 is fairly low. I've seen that wind up over 10 with a wind 2 ball. Clear that, land in the rough, and that ball just trickles out down. It's going to give us a nice approach to the green. So for our second shot, sniper, and again it's going to be around mid club, and I am playing this 10% uphill. So you'll see I kind of put that setting on 4 back. Yeah, I can already tell that I'm going to need more left spin, so kind of play that around. You'll notice there's a little bit of a ridge right here. So that's what I'm trying to get in, trying to catch that ridge and go straight up the grain to the cup. We back that up. It looks like it was ending a little bit in a lower elevation than where my landing spot is, and that can just missed it. So that lower ending point after I adjust for wind, that can definitely cause that ball to come up short. But I put the minus 10% where I'm adjusting it a little bit less. That's a good rollout just past the cup. Just missed that on the right side, so we'll work on that, and we'll be getting albatross on that hole by the weekend. So that's the expert playthrough. Want to wish everybody good luck. Good luck making the weekend, and good luck bringing home those banners. Remember, if you like the videos, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and good luck.